Hello, parents. A warm welcome to you all for my second session on parenting. So, in the last session, we had discussed about the various perspectives of parenting and what is our perception towards our children, etc. So, today's session, we are going to discuss about what are the different types of parenting and how many of us directly or indirectly fit into these types of parenting. So, are you all ready? So, please watch the video completely and do share your feedback later in the comment section. So, here we go. So, how many of us expect a lot from our children? So you might say, I do not expect anything from my child, and it's like as a parent, I only give and I don't ask. True. Somewhere, yes, we do that. But, ask yourself, parents, how many of us want a good grade from our children? See, I'm sure there's nothing wrong about it, right? See, because having put our children to a reputed schools and paying a hefty sum, we do expect our children to score well, participate in all the activities that are highlighted. So I have seen parents even, going to an extent of even calling the school and questioning the school. Why aren't their children being given the main character or say a role in performing arts? So what is this all called? Isn't it called expectations? So we have seen even parents asking kids to perform during their neighbors or when their relatives visit. So and what really happens is our children are also somewhere into that particular category where they would excellently perform well. But then when we are asking them to perform in front of their aunt or relatives, they do not perform. So what do? Once they leave, we even go and question them, or sometimes we end up even like kind of a threatening them, saying that why didn't you do it, you're kind of spoiling my reputation. So many parents, they don't really understand that directly they're kind of hampering the child's self-esteem, be it even self-control as well. So children of such parents, they will face a lot of challenges in their later stages of life. So they would associate obedience and success with love, and they will display more aggressive behavior outside home because they're not able to vent it out inside. So these are the behavior they will try and vent it outside. And they also will act fearful or overly shy around others, and they will also have lower self-esteem and having difficulty in social situations due to a lack of social competence, and they would conform easily, yet also suffer from depression and anxiety, and they would suffer from self-control. Yeah. So you might be asking me, okay, so shouldn't I ask anything and shouldn't I question my child for anything that they do? So I would say that the answer is yes. You have to ask. You have to question them. Ask or question your child, but then question their behavior. So you should understand it is the behavior of the child and not them as a person. So ask them the reasons as to why did they do that. See, you might never know. They may come up with exciting ideas that may even fascinate you as a parent and help them to grow independently. And also make sure that you give them consequences for whatever wrong behavior and do not punish them. Now, what's the difference between consequence and punishment? Everything seems to be the same, isn't it? No, parents, it's not the same. A consequence is a result or indirect or direct effect of an action. So the goal over here for giving consequence is to teach the child a lesson, okay, that would make a positive choices later. Whereas punishment is defined by Merriam-Webster as a suffering, it's a pain or a loss that serves as a retribution. So, for an example, a child who misbehaves at a dinner table should should be excused from the table and asked to sit down on the floor and eat, instead of warning and saying the child no TV or no electronic gadget. Or let's take another example. A child who is lying should be asked to try and earn trust back by demonstrating honesty instead of beating the child or making the child sit in front of the wall. So this is one type of a parenting where you try and show your authority to the child with low responsiveness. Okay, and I will definitely share the positives also of this parenting a little later in the video. Yeah, so there are other set of parents who are not being able to say no because they don't want to upset their child for anything. For example, they might shop for candies when their child asks for a chocolate bar despite already having two during the day. So this is kind of a parenting. So yes, we all love our children. Yeah, we would like to give them everything. So, but we would like to then be their friend, instead of being a parent. So we might ask them their opinion and also take decisions. So this is one set of a parenting. Now, have you seen few parents, especially in these toy shops? Okay, the parent would be having a trolley and there would be already toys inside the trolley. Now, as we pass by, this particular child would stop the parent and, it would point out something which is small. Say, for example, a card or a small teddy bear, whatever. Maybe the cost is also low. Now, the child wants that also. How many of us strictly say a no to our children? Have you ever wondered about it? So what would we think? Okay, it is anyway, not much of cost. It's okay. Let's go about it. Let's buy. So over here, what do you all think? Is it the price that matters or the discipline? Somewhere we are giving our children the authority to decide for us. Correct? So I wouldn't say that, this parenting is very bad. No, this parenting also has its own positive things. But then, this soft kind of parenting might have adverse effects on your child tomorrow. They would display low achievement in many areas because their parents have very little or no expectations at all. These kids have nothing to strive toward. Studies have linked this kind of a parenting to lower academic achievement also, and they would tend to make poor decisions later in their life since their parents do not set or enforce any type of rules or guidelines. These kids struggle to learn to use problem solving skills and also decision making skills. Finally, the time management skills, because the lack of structure and rules in home, these kids never learn limits. This might lead to watching too much of television, playing too many computer games, and even eating too much. So these children never learn to limit their screen time or even eating habits, which can lead to unhealthy habits and obesity. So what is it? What would you do? So let me share a few parenting tips on this parenting. Develop a list of basic household rules. In order for your kids to know how they are supposed to behave, they need to clearly understand what their expectations are and follow through. This can be the greatest struggle for parents who tend to be permissive, but it's important. Try to be very firm and consistent, but still loving. Help your kids understand why such rules are important by providing them adequate feedback and explanation, but still make sure that consequences are in place. Make sure your kids understand the penalty of breaking the rules. Guidelines are useless unless there is some important sort of a consequence for following or failing to follow them. Timeouts and losing privileges are, logical consequences for breaking the household rules. And don't forget to reward the good behavior. Try to catch your children being good and allow some special privileges when they display these actions. You can also have a behavior chart, stuck at home. It could be in front of your study table, and you can actually give them a lot of stars and provide them rewards in the form of candies or chocolates or whatever they like.